Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. Reasoning models have obviously taken over a huge number of use cases with AI. However, one downside is that it appears that hallucinations appear to be getting worse as reasoning models scale up. In their technical report on their new O3 and O4 mini models, OpenAI disclosed that they both performed O1 on the Person QA evaluation. That's an in-house test that queries the models against publicly available facts and is designed explicitly to elicit hallucinations. O1 hallucinated 16% of the time, O3 roughly doubled that, hallucinating 33% of the time, while O4 Mini hallucinated nearly half of its answers at 48%. OpenAI wrote that O4 Mini's results were expected as, quote, smaller models have less world knowledge and tend to hallucinate more. However, when it came to O3's performance, they said, O3 tends to make more claims overall, leading to more accurate claims as well as more inaccurate and hallucinated claims. In essence, they're saying the longer a model thinks, the more opportunity it has to trip up and hallucinate in its reasoning. O1's conclusion was that more research is needed to understand the cause of this. And as we'll discuss in today's main episode, the more that these models move into high production, high value use cases inside the enterprise, the more that hallucinations become a big concern. One promising counter signal, however, is that access to web search seems to mitigate hallucinations. So it's not as though there aren't ways to mitigate this. In the meantime, this is a real issue. Developer Patrick Bade wrote, "This might sound harsh, but O3 is unusable for low-level coding at the moment. It spits out ridiculous code snippets full of hallucinations and wrong assumptions. There is no doubt O3 is excellent in making plans and analyzing high-level stuff, but it's downright terrible at implementing logic." Speaking of O3, independent benchmarkers have been unable to match OpenAI's scores for O3. After getting a hold of the new model, Epic AI tried to match OpenAI's results. Specifically, they attempted to put the model through its paces in the ultra-hard frontier math benchmark. Until O3, no model had achieved more than a 2% result. OpenAI claimed that O3 could achieve 25% correct, but Epic AI only managed a 10% result, which is of course still much better than any other model on the market, but a far cry from that 25%. Epic wrote, "The difference between our results and OpenAI's might be due to OpenAI evaluating with a more powerful internal scaffold, using more test time compute, or because these results were run on a different subset of frontier math." One thing that OpenAI did say is that the O3 that is now available in production is, quote, more optimized for real-world use cases and speed as opposed to the version of O3 that was demoed in December. Technical staff member Wenda Zhao wrote, "We've done optimizations to make the model more cost-efficient and more useful in general. To me, it's another great reminder that we should only view benchmarks as a very small part of how we view a model, and that ultimately the proof is in the pudding with the actual tasks and use cases that you give it." On that front, I am still finding O3 a leap and bounds improvement over previous models. Over in the world of AI coders, Figma appears to be latching onto the vibe coding trend with an AI app maker. The feature accepts text prompts, Figma files, and images as input to return fully functional apps. This new no-code tool is powered by Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and while some suggested that Figma is scrambling for feature parity with Canva, who introduced their own vibe coding tool 2 weeks ago, this kind of seems like a sign of the times. Simple AI prototyping is such a powerful tool that it is rapidly becoming a must-have feature for every single design platform. Which is not to say that vibe coding platforms don't have their challenges. Cursor has apologized after an AI support agent went rogue and invented a new policy. Last week, users began reporting that they were being logged out of sessions when switching between devices. Many emailed Cursor's customer support to ask whether this was the intention, leading to an employee identified as Sam saying that this was expected behavior under a new policy. Adding, quote, "Cursor is designed to work with one device per subscription as a core security feature." The issue blew up on Reddit, with one user commenting that multi-device workflows are table stakes for devs. There were dozens of angry responses from programmers stating that they were canceling their subscriptions. As it turned out, however, Sam was actually an AI support agent and there was no such policy in place. Cursor co-founder Michael Truel responded in the thread, "We have no such policy. You're of course free to use Cursor on multiple machines. Unfortunately, this is an incorrect response from a frontline AI support bot. We did roll out a change to improve the security of sessions, and we're investigating to see if it caused any problems with session invalidation." And so again, you here have an example of how hallucinations can be actually problematic in practice, which I think is ultimately a perfect segue to our main episode, where we discuss some updates in how enterprises are using AI.